getting ready to do some painting. And that means I'm getting ready to find my. I think the first thing I need to do is some washes on some figures. I got them base painted out real good. They look nice, but they definitely need some washes. So let me find. I mean, if I were trying to make them more military accurate or whatever, I'd be looking for like a mud wash or something like that, something a little more in the brown stage of things. But I'm not. So now, yesterday when I streamed, for whatever reason, this didn't work. Let's see if I can get it to work today. Uh-oh. These damn Colorado bees. See, it's working today. Huh. Very interesting. Very interesting. So, military shader, no, because I don't know how that would look on the blue. So I think I'll just go with my Vallejo black. And then if I need to, do some dry brushing and stuff, I can always do that. So, So now the important thing is to find the Vallejo black. I've got my streaker here, the Vallejo black streak wash, but I'm looking for the actual pop top Vallejo black wash. You can hear me moving a lot of paints around. I've got like 30 paints in front of me. Let's see, is it in here? If it is, it'll be easy to find. Unless I find non oil first, in which case, yeah, I'll be doing some non oil on it. Non oil. Give it a good shake. And find me a good old beat up wash brush. Something like, yeah, this will do. I don't know what this used to be, but okay, let's have a sip of juice. Sipping on gin and juice. Laid back with my mind on my money and my money on my mind. So, okay, so how's this going to look? It's easy to, or best, I think, to do it on the one miniature and then let it dry and everything so that you kind of get a good idea of what you're going to be looking at. And I have to say, it looks pretty good, actually, except for that part that I missed in there. There we go. Yeah, I like that. Let's let it dry. Let's put the no-no near it. And we'll get to it. THAC0 for the win. Yeah, that is a very contentious title, I think. Some people are going to be pretty upset about it. Other people are going to agree with it 100% till the death. I mean, me personally, I can play either, but there is something about THAC0 that really captures that old school feel of D&D, you know? Like if you're really trying to get the feeling of old school D&D, you almost kind of have to use THAC0. That's just my opinion, but I think it's a good opinion. So there you go. What I like though, or not like, but one of the things that always kind of makes me laugh is when you get people fighting about THAC0, like it was too hard or it was this and it was that. And it's like my dumbass figured it out when I was like 12. So what is your excuse, you know? And I mean, let's be honest, ascending armor classes do make a lot of sense. They do. I mean, if we're being honest about it, having the armor class directly exactly. That was the thing with THAC0 is the player knew what their THAC0 was, but they never knew unless you told them what the armor class was. So it kind of made it where it was like, you know, a mystery. As you said, I agree. And if you're going to run those really old classic basic adventures, it's super easy to go ahead and convert them, but it's also super easy just to use THAC0. So, which, you know, a lot of people are like, THAC0 started in second edition, and it's like, open the back of your first edition AD&D DMG, and you will see THAC0 for every monster in the monster manual. It has a THAC0. It was already, even at that time, something they were playing with because instead of putting the whole long line of different armor classes down, you could just put THAC0 and a number. And then, you know, basic math follows. But there are a lot of people out there in this old world that do not like basic math. They actually kind of hate it. So they created this different way of doing it, which again I like just fine too. But I guess what I am is not so much I'm just a THAC0 enjoyer and also a THAC0 defender. Like if people start talking smack and saying THAC0 was the worst and stuff like that, then I'll step up and be like, no, it wasn't, you know, for this reason, that reason, this reason, you know, this is why I think it was actually pretty good. But I mean, currently we're using ascending armor class because we're playing OSC. What's up, James? Other James. So, yeah, I'll do both. Now, I will tell you guys this, and this might be a thing that a lot of people are like, what? Personally, I prefer games where armor soaks damage instead of making you harder to hit. That is my actual personal belief on that. So games like BRP, Warhammer, you know, your defense is a lot more active, whether you're going to try to use a shield or a parry or something to make yourself harder to hit. But then you get hit, and if you're wearing, a set of dwarven plate mail, there's a good chance that you might soak the damage and be able to keep going. But of course, you pay for that because it affects your movement and all of your agility skills and your ability to sneak. Yeah, Traveler. I have a huge love for Traveler. I talk about it a lot on this channel, actually. You guys know that. Specifically for me, um, somebody wanting to join? I was looking down. Oh, it's left.
Hello.
Hey, yeah, Traveler is a pretty good system too. You know,
It looks pretty interesting.
oh, it's a great system because I can tell you how to play Traveler in like minutes. It's basically this. I'm going to tell you to make a skill roll. You're going to roll 2 dice 6. And if that 2 dice 6 plus your applicable skills is more than 8 or equal to 8, you succeed. And that is basically the rules. Now, where Traveler gets more complicated than other games is actually the combat. Because when you get hit in combat, they roll the damage dice of their weapon, and you have to divide that damage, amongst attributes and stuff. And if one of your attributes hits 0 right off the bat, then your character is out. And if 2 hit 0, you've suffered a serious wound. And if your third physical attribute hits 0, you are dead. So, let's say the average Traveler attribute is 7. If someone rolls 21 hit points worth of damage on you turn 1, and you're not wearing armor or anything, you're dead. It really is that simple, right? But
Yeah.
let's say they roll shitty on their shotgun attack, right? And your endurance is like 12 because you rolled really good. Well, you're going to soak that hit with endurance and keep fighting through it. You see what I mean?
Neat.
You're going to be like, oh, you did 9 damage. Well, I've
Oh
got
well.
12 endurance, so I'll just stick it all there. And then your endurance is you note down that now your endurance is, you got 3 more points of endurance left, and you duke it out. But honestly, you can tell that Traveler was designed by a guy with military experience, because if you're playing Traveler and you want to actually survive a combat, you have to use terrain. You don't want to directly attack an opponent if you don't have to. Yes, if you're within like a meter of something you can dive behind, you can try and do that to save your ass. And then armor soaks. And some of the armor, like when you get to your really high tech, high end power armor type shit, it soaks so much damage that like a normal conventional weapon is never going to hurt you.
Now in BRP, if you're in melee, you can actually use your weapons to also parry, which is really nice too.
Yeah, you can do that, I think. What's up, Wim Runner? Are you working still?
It's why my character was actually a pretty good tank in that game because I dual wielded sword, so I had 2 chances of parry and a dodge.
Well, BRP is a good system. It allows you to do a bunch of stuff.
Yeah,
Um, but Traveler is basically it's almost like Traveler does everything awesome that BRP does, but with 2 dice 6. That's really the only difference, though.
fair.
And well, used to you couldn't advance your character in Traveler, but in newer editions you can. How are you doing? How are you doing, historical
Yeah, I
doppelganger?
would like to have the ability to advance my character. That's probably where I'd hate the older Traveler.
That's why I had to invent the new house rules for um, Gamma World, because I knew for a fact that not having the ability to advance skills and stuff like that would make people get bored really quick. You know, like if your character can never improve except through gear, and that's how classic Traveler was, right?
That's
Now,
true.
Mega Traveler, or was it T4, one of them, they did a thing where you put a check mark next to whatever skill you used, and then you could raise those skills if I forget exactly how it worked, but anyway, it worked. And then now you've got Mongoose Traveler, and they've added a lot of optional rules for, you know, I mean, one of the things is just like every successful adventure, you get like 1 XP. And when you've got enough XP, you can like train a skill up or something. Well, Seth Kwiatkowski did make.
Yeah, I'm just going to Circle K. I'm gonna take Bear.
I know you leave Bear because I'm not going.
He's gonna be very upset though.
I don't care. He's not going to sit in the car alone. Okay, I love you. Yeah, I mean, he'll figure it out. He's young. He's young. He'll get over it. Not having my dog sitting in a car by itself. Bear, you're staying home. Bear, you're staying home. See, I got to handle my fuzzy butt.
Okay, yes.
There he goes. Good. Yeah, my wife's like, I'm just going to run into the store for a minute. Nope. Nope. The answer is nope. Not happening. You know, just not a thing that's going to happen. And here's the thing: is usually, no matter what I'm doing around the house, if she wants to go to the store, I'll stop and I'll immediately go to the store with her. But I just finished all of today's chores and told her I'm going to sit down and do some live streaming and painting. And she was like, okay. So she knew exactly what I was doing, and yet decided at this moment and at no other moment in the entire day could she go to the store. And sometimes you just got to put your Mac down and be like, yeah, no. And she knows not to argue with me about it because she won't win. But and then my little puppy can stay here. He'll be fine. He hears me. He hears the lady from Squirrel Tribe on the TV. He's fine. So, exactly. But yeah, Traveler back to what we were talking about. One, Seth Skorkowski, honestly, if you're going to play Traveler at all, regardless of if you're talking about 2300 or whatever you're talking about, that guy is like a must watch. He really is. He's got like a 10 part. BRP is basic role play. BRB is be right back in internet talk. Yeah, last night, Windrunner, I don't know what I was doing, but I was trying to work on my base and I wasn't paying attention and I deleted like everything, like all of my tools and workshops and supplies and my fiefdom, everything gone.
Oof.
Yeah, oof. The only thing that saved my ass is I quickly gathered up enough, metal to put the fiefdom back down, and I still had my ornithopter. So it was easy for me to, when you got an ornithopter in this game, and since I live so close to the northern zone wall, I can leave the northern zone wall, fly around Haga Basin in the open world, and then enter from the southern zone wall, which means I skip the whole flight through Haga Basin. Yeah, Shadow and Sun does a 5 years, or yeah, it's like 2300, but before it. I don't know why, but maybe he just didn't want to spend the money for 2300, which now is much cheaper, but at the time was like $100 for the box, $100 for the box set. So I can understand that, maybe being like, yeah, I don't think so. Greg Gutfield or something. I can hear my wife's TV. I don't know what TOTM is. Bruce, you're going to have to explain that because I have no idea what that is. Oh, in the year 2525. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, that was like Warren and Zevon or something like that. If man is still alive. Oh, you're not much for Theater of the Mind? Well, Traveler doesn't. Traveler, when it was originally released, was released with all the rules for miniature gaming. And then they went even further and they released an actual miniature game called Striker. And then they released another miniature game that was supposed to depict one crew trying to board a ship while another crew defends it. I think that was called Flashpoint. So, I mean, it's like I tell people, you can get away with Theater of the Mind in a game like Vampire, Dune, something like that, where it's mostly politics, talking, and doing shit in a much more abstract way. But when a firefight happens in the engineering deck of your, Merkava class far trader, you need to know exactly where everyone is standing at the time the first shot takes off. So, yeah, I'm a minis guy too. Welcome back, William. So I was just throwing a little bit of streaky vehicle wash on this wrecked striker looking vehicle. It's an FDM print. See, he waited for you so patiently. No, he didn't cry. He just laid down and looked out the door.
Aww.
He knew you were coming back. But, you know, we're not going to risk getting him stolen. See, that's my thing. Somebody sees a beautiful, fuzzy little Pomeranian alone in a van. Why not just, you know,
Take them.
you never know. Somebody picks it up, opens the door, grabs the dog. Now you're out a dog. And I would be very sad because he's my boy, you know, he's my buddy. So I don't even want to risk it. That's not something I even want to contemplate. Yeah, Traveler has a Striker is the Traveler combat rules in 15 millimeter, but it's really easy to up it to like 28 or 32 or whatever your flavor is. And it was literally designed to handle like company on company or platoon on platoon actions. Though for the life of me, I don't know why. But Mark Miller was, like I said, he was, I think, an Air Force engineer. So you can see a lot of that. You can see a lot of that in every game he was involved in. Is, you know. Now, I think it was Frank Chadwick that actually did Twilight 2000, the original. And Frank Chadwick, of course, worked for Game Designers Workshop before they decided to, you know, bankrupt themselves. But recent Traveler news that you guys have probably all heard already. Mark Miller has officially given all the rights to all the Traveler stuff to Mongoose Publishing. So basically the entire Game Designers Workshop catalog now belongs to Mongoose Publishing, basically. Does Striker do ship combat well? You don't need Striker for ship combat. Ship combat is in the basic game. And just so you know, it does not work like Star Wars or even Star Trek. It works more like Harpoon, except there's maybe a carrier group somewhere and submarines. Like the most important role you're going to roll, Silent Death. That was a good game. The most important role you're going to roll during Starship combat in Traveler is the sensor check. Because, you know, until you get a good sensor lock on whatever the hell it is you're trying to fire, whatever you're trying to fire, it don't matter. You know? Like one of the ways they did it in 2300 is they actually told you in the book to take ping pong balls and glue them on stands and paint them black, spray paint them black. And then however many enemy ships was in the area, you would add a number of other ping pong balls. Now, granted, I guess you'd have to number them. And then you move them all as if they're ships, except some of them aren't. They're just random anomalies in space. So you're traveling through space, trying to get a sensor lock on something that's literally hundreds of thousands of kilometers away, and vice versa. And like I said, there's always the chance that you get an initial lock on something, but then when you actually figure out what that something is, it's just space junk. floating around. So now, the good news is in the game, you would then remove that particular ping pong ball. That one could go away because you know what it is. And that means, that whoever's got the best sensor tech could, in theory, totally get the jump on the other guy. Now, once you start firing plasma weapons and shit like that across, 100,000 kilometers, the other guy is going to know where you are. You know what I mean? It's like a given. He's still got to make a sensor check, but he gets such a big bonus that
It's basically guaranteed.
it's pretty much guaranteed.
Better do massive damage if you get the
Right.
first shot.
Well, I mean, that's kind of the goal. But in Traveler, a lot of vehicles have point defense weaponry. And they have stuff like sandcasters and PDFs and stuff like that. So let's say you fire a laser at an enemy ship. Well, if you're firing a laser at an enemy ship, say 150,000 kilometers away, right? Believe it or not, there's a delay there because the speed of light doesn't instantaneously cross 100 plus thousand kilometers. There's a slight little bit of delay. And in that slight little bit of delay, the enemy ship can deploy sandcasters. And what they basically do is they throw out chaff that forms kind of like a cloud between the ship and the incoming laser. And the hope is the laser will run out of power as it has to burn through this cloud of chaff that you shot out.
Oh boy.
Yeah. One thing classic Traveler never, yes, you can absolutely in classic Traveler and any version of Traveler, to my knowledge, buy what they call expert programs. And what that means is the more money you're willing to pay, the bigger the bonus they get to do whatever. But the argument from the designers is you always actually want a human. You know what I mean? Because your expert program still needs somebody to tell it what to expertly look for, unless you just tell it to randomly try and identify every single thing floating through space within 250,000 kilometers. Because, yeah, the range of some of the bigger lasers is literally hundreds of thousands of kilometers. And that's not including torpedoes that will actually, if they get luck on you, they'll actually try and run you down. So at which point, hopefully you got good PDF. You can shoot that bitch down. Cross that Rubicon 1987. I love SSL. Almost every single SSL game I played, I loved. The only one that I was slightly disappointed in was Pool of Darkness.
I mean, SSI.
SSI, yeah.
SSI, yeah. Because
I know nothing about video games, and I knew that. So
yeah, strategic simulation, something initiative. Yeah. When I bought Pool of Darkness, I was really, really hoping for Pool of Radiance Part 2, and it wasn't.
Yeah, well,
because Pool of Radiance was just awesome.
The only one of those old ones I ever played was in 91, 92. So it was whatever Eye Beholder came out. I think it was Eye Beholder 2 or 3.
Oh, yeah.
It was the only one I ever played. And I was in radio school and I had a really good 286 computer, like, it had a sound card, and I had my broadcast headphones on. I'm playing in the dark and I'm sitting in my chair playing, and a monster was behind me in the game, and it went, but the sound in the headphones came from behind me.
So
So
you heard it.
I flipped around like in defensive mode, turning my wire attached to the back of the computer. So it yanked my head and I fell out of the chair and I'm lying on the floor staring at the ceiling like an asshole. And I'm like, you know what? Maybe these aren't for me. Maybe I shouldn't play games like this. I'm going to go back to stuff where I press a button and stuff goes boom.
Right.
Dude, my heart was just like, boom, 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 boom.
I even really like the SSI version of Buck Rogers.
Never played it.
Yeah, you like traveled from all the different planets in the solar system and tried to defeat some evil scientist. And like you could recruit like mutant warriors that had been designed to be mutant warriors, and you could make friends with the Martians. And like there was this, it was basically, it used the AD&D rules, but you were on a starship and you're trying to stop this mad scientist who had cloned a bunch of basically mutant monsters and was going to unleash them on the world or something.
That's fair.
So, but yeah, it was sad that when TSR went their way, SSI kind of did too, you know? They made a couple World War II war games, you know, the like computerized hex and, you know, counter type war games, but they were pretty much done. It's also a shame that nobody has ever just got those games and just upgraded them.
Upgrade.
Yeah, just brought them up to modern technological levels.
Yeah.
They wouldn't even have to change the rules or anything. They just have to change the interface and the graphics. It'd be, you would think for a game company, that would be like the easiest thing to do. Saxius, how you doing, homie?
And possibly just a little bit of an update on the character customization.
What?
A little bit of an update on the character customization.
Well, I mean, that falls under graphics.
Yeah.
But otherwise, I mean, Pool of Radiance, I believe, was like AD&D 2nd edition.
You want to see something cool, James?
What's that?
One of my Discordians / viewers went to a Viking festival somewhere in the Midwest and sent me a T-shirt from it.
That is cool.
That is damn cool, man.
Yeah, there are a lot of people of Norwegian descent in like Minnesota and Wisconsin and all that shit.
That
they
just makes
still eat that rotten fish, that what do they call it, lutefish or whatever.
Lutefish, yeah.
Yeah, fisk even. They don't even call it fish. It's like lutefisk. Like once a year they have a big like celebration, and the big part of it is to eat that rotten fish. Yeah, we have a number of states, Saxius, that apparently when the Scandinavians came over, they looked at the East Coast and was like, F this shit. And they ended up from Saskatchewan down to like Minneapolis and that region. And so to this day, that's why Minnesota's football team is the Minnesota Vikings.
Again, I find it funny that they all did that because it just makes me think of that one Pokemon line. It's like, I didn't even know there were Vikings anymore. Yeah, I believe they're all in Minnesota now.
Yeah.
The Minnesota Vikings.
But I mean, the way they built their exploration ships, not their warships, I mean, like they did this in Russia a lot, is they would follow a river till the ship could no longer be on the river, and then they would run the oars through where the oars, like the loops, and they'd have men on either side lift that bitch up using the oars, you know what I mean? And they would carry it to the next river and then put it back, because apparently you had to do that to get to Constantinople from Russia. Like you went all the way down the Olga or whatever, but then you had to carry the boat to another river, the Vistula or something. I mean, I don't remember offhand. I'm probably screwing names up. Now, I doubt they could have done that with the Drakars because those things were, 100 feet plus long and, war boats. But they're smaller boats. Yeah, they carry them bitches. Hell, I even read a story of some Vikings who got stranded someplace. So they just built a boat because some of the guys that had been in the crew knew how to build a Viking longship. So in order to rescue themselves, they just built a boat. And instead of using rivets as they normally would, they laced it together with tar-soaked rope. Because that's one thing about the Viking boats. They were not firmly attached. You'd make the keel and then all the planking would be riveted, which means it would flex, right? And then they would take cotton threads like, that big around, right? And they would soak it in tar and they would jam that cotton in between all the planks. The cotton covered in tar. And then in that way, when they're out in the open ocean and the waves are smashing and stuff, those Viking ships would be bending and flexing with the waves instead of, snapping in half and sending everyone straight down to hell.
Davy Jones' locker.
Well, that was before Davy Jones.
I know.
It wasn't until we got much better at building ships and stuff like that that they start actually, like the Greeks, they didn't rivet their ships together. As a result, they stayed within eyesight of land as much as possible because if they saw a storm coming, they had to pull that ship out of the water or it would break in half. So, All right. So, Bear, what you been up to, man?
I had to run some errands this morning, live life, all that good shit.
Well, me too. I woke up. Wife had a list, things to do.
And now I'm just was killing time doing some music remastering on Suno, and that's about it. It's hot. It's a hot day.
A hot day.
It's not a Florida hot day, but it's a hot day.
You notice I never even said how hot it was here?
It's because it's Florida. It's permanently hot.
Not only that, but because I now know that Canada gets hot as shit.
It can.
And I never knew that. But I know that now that, when the Canadians start bitching because it's 95 degrees Fahrenheit, it's like, damn, that's hotter than it is here,
And 15, 20 degrees of that is humidity. So it's even more fun.
Yeah, it's like, damn, those guys are roasting up there in Montreal. We got a nice breeze down here in Orlando, 80 degrees, whatever, right?
Where I grew up in eastern Quebec, which is where Mr. Boivin lives now, he lives in the same region I grew up in. It never gets colder than minus 25, minus 30 at the worst, and it never gets hotter than plus 25, plus 30, right? It's really nice. But the thing is, in the winter, the breeze. You will get some wind chill if you're not careful or a lot of blowing snow. But in the summer, oh, brother, it's a scorcher of a day, but here comes that beautiful breeze off the bay just to make everything lovely. You know what I mean? It's just heaven. Oh, God, I miss it. I miss it a lot. Problem is, Airbnb got so popular down there during the pandemic because Quebec insisted everybody tour and do their vacations in Quebec. Now you can't find fucking apartments to rent or houses to rent down there because they're all converted for Airbnb now. That thing.
Yeah, you were saying that Airbnb basically runs your. Hey, Squirrel Hermit, what's up, homie?
Dude, it ruined my hometown of 2,000 people so bad that the only hotel in town now wants $150 a night for a room. Which I can go get a hotel room downtown Montreal for less than that at a nice place.
Right.
You know?
It's
Airbnb, man, it's the worst fucking thing. It needs to die. I guarantee you kill off Airbnb, the housing market will adjust itself appropriately as people start selling off all these houses they used as investments for Airbnb.
See, I never really thought about it much because, you know,
Oh, yeah. A lot of boomers own 2 and 3 houses, and they live in one, and then use the other 3 as Airbnb locations. Because think about it. Oh, I can rent you this house for $1,500 a month, or I can make $1,500 a week renting it to tourists.
right. I guess it was, you know how people are. They typically only worry about things that might directly affect them.
Yep.
And Airbnb and all that never directly affected me, so I never thought
Never
much
affected me
about
until
it.
now. Like, it never affected me until now, and now that it's affecting me, I'm like, for fuck's sake. This is what is fucking up my life? Boomer greed again? How many fucking times in one lifetime can boomer greed? My buddy and I were running errands today. Up in the area I live in Montreal, it's called Ville-Saint-Laurent. There's all these beautiful little bungalows, these old school 1950s, built after the war, these little tiny houses, maybe 2 bedrooms in them. They're nice little houses. 5-6 years ago, maybe 10 on the outside, they were selling for 250,000 maximum. Now they're going for 500 to 750,000.
I actually saw a video online and they were talking about Canadian real estate.
Squirrel! Bye, squirrel.
Gotta go. Robust blessing stuff. Same to you, homie.
See ya, squirrel.
Yeah, they were talking about like how people down here, we think we're in the middle of a thing.
You're not.
And they're like, you have no idea, because like a house that you could buy in America for like 150 grand or 250 grand or whatever the number was, can be like $1 million in Canada.
You can't find a house in Canada for 200,000 anymore, 250,000. Forget it. There's images I could send you of ads, real estate ads for these fucking rundown, collapsing houses in Vancouver that are like just absolutely like they need to be condemned and torn down. $1.5 million asking price.
Sounds like San Diego back in the 90s.
I thought it was bad here.
What's weird about it to me is if there's one thing Canada has plenty of,
space.
If you want to talk about, only being within 100 miles of our border, they still got a shit ton of border. I mean,
and a ton of space. We could go anywhere we want, but the problem is we have 2 things standing in the way on that. 1, regulations, and 2, 100% NIMBYism. Right? Not in my backyard.
Yeah. Okay.
So every time someone proposes the idea of doing a new subdevelopment or saying, hey, we're going to build some, 3-story tall, 15-unit buildings in this area, all the boomers come out and protest at their town councils, and they get it all kiboshed and shut down because not in my backyard, motherfuckers. And when they do get permission to build a subdivision, guess who sweeps in and buys all the properties before they're even like practically on the market? No, BlackRock.
Well, yeah, BlackRock, but they're currently working on something with that down here, at least.
Well, if they ever bring it up here, I'll be a very happy person, because foreign investment and corporate ownership of property has killed our fucking housing market as well.
Yeah, I mean, it sucks because it's like, if there's one thing every adult man, whatever, should be able to do, is you should be able to get a job that allows you to get at least some form of your own house.
Well, the cost of living crisis in Canada is absolutely insane right now. All of our food is controlled by three primary corporations who own all the grocery stores in Canada for the most part. So they price fix all the time. They got caught in a bread price fixing scheme a few years ago. And everyone's like, well, at least they got caught. I'm like, yeah, how many do you think they didn't get caught on? They got caught on the bread one. Whoop-de shit. I bet you there's a milk one. There's a butter one. There's tons of them going on. So they control all the food. And the price of food has just been shooting up in the last 4 years. Like, it's insane how expensive food is in Canada now. Adding to that, the cost of rent shooting up, everything else is shooting up. Instead of paying a 30% or 33% of your income on survival, we now pay 70 to 75% of our income on housing, food, bills, all the basics, all the necessities every month to get through. We are all one crisis away from being homeless in Canada right now. And no one gives a fuck because there's all these rich assholes on the top. And then there's all these immigrants being brought in on the bottom that they're giving job permits to and shoving into the country at $1 million a year. And they don't have any fucking place to put them. They don't have any fucking, they don't teach them how to be Canadian because that would be offensive, like to teach them like how to assimilate. So they're just slowly destroying this fucking country for the richness of a bunch of white fucking Quebec and Ontario elites that we call the Laurentian Club, which was created by the original Trudeau back in the 70s, Pierre Elliott. So this country is fucking cooked. Bruce, stay where you are. Don't come to Canada. That's all I'm going to say to all you guys. And Vic, stay on your side of the border and laugh at us. You might have to deal with Somalis, but trust me, if you lived here, you'd be like a mass murderer based on your temper already. If you were in Canada, you'd be like, get me my hunting rifle. I'm going hunting today at the Tim Hortons.
Yeah,
Well,
it's definitely.
I only thought about moving to Canada when I was young and stupid, but.
Well, think about this. Think about this, okay? So, like, New Zealand, Australia are going through it. The UK is going through it, and Canada's going through it. But we're going through three different things, right, that are all tangentially related to this socialist, globalist agenda. Is it a coincidence that the three major Commonwealth nations are going through this at the same time? Or is it fucking design by the World Economic Forum that has its fingers in all three of our governments heavily? But you say that, you're a fucking conspiracy theorist and a racist and a horrible person and a fucking alt-right MAGA Trumpian and all these shit they call us whenever we talk.
I mean, I'm 100% all about blaming the IMF for everything.
The IMF's no longer a force. It's the fucking WEF now that's the problem.
Whoever.
These pricks. These are the you'll own nothing and rent everything and be happy guys.
Okay.
Let's eat crickets guys.
Yeah, like that German dude or Swedish dude or whatever he was.
Yeah.
Why would you need to import 1 million workers a year into Canada?
Because we're having a population crisis because it's gotten so expensive to have fucking children. People aren't having children anymore. So like all Western civilizations, we're one generation away from a complete population crisis. So what they decided as their way to fix it was import fucking foreigners who will breed like rabbits.
At least for a couple of generations, because I've seen studies where they've imported all these people thinking they were going to breed like rabbits and up the population, and within 2 generations they stopped breeding too.
Yeah. They don't think 2 generations ahead, James. They think next election.
Because it turns out the reason people aren't having kids, one, what you said, and 2, life is too freaking easy. Yep. And there's too many distractions. So the idea of getting a wife and tilling land and having 8 kids, I mean, why would you do that? That would get in the way with you being able to go on vacation.
My generation in Quebec, French Canadians had on average 5 kids. My parents had 5 kids in our family as well. The generation before us, the French Canadians had on average 9 to 13 children per family.
Right.
Now, 1.
Yep.
So you go from 13 to 5 to about 2 to 3 to 1 in 4 generations.
And this isn't anecdotal because I lived through it, but both of my grandparents had minimum 8 kids and maximum one had 11. My mom had 3. I had 2. Hungar has 3.
Yeah.
My little sister had 3. So, I mean, yeah, that's a major drop.
It's like that meme I shared with you the other day, right? The guy goes, "Oh shit, that's bad. This is going to need stitches." Goes to the doctor in the U.S. Yeah, I can fix it. That'll be $58,000. Goes to the doctor in England. Yeah, I can fix that in 36 weeks. Goes to the doctor in Canada. Have you thought about dying? Jesus Christ.
Have you considered assisted suicide?
If you considered MAID, it's a great program we have. It'll take care of your stitches issue. You know.
Yeah, that's a.
They're trying to get reports right now of the amount of people who have died waiting for treatment in the last per year in Canada. Most of the provinces are refusing to provide the information. From the provinces they got the information from as best they could using extrapolation, it's like 15,000 people a year.
Well, I mean, I know that one of my best buddies died because he went to the clinic with a headache and they sent him home and told him to take some pain relief and whatever.
And it was an aneurysm.
But it turned out he didn't have a headache. He had a brain bleed.
Oh, yeah, an aneurysm. Right. So
he laid on his bathroom floor with a wet cloth on his head and died.
Yeah. That's our amazing healthcare system in Canada. You know, when you guys don't I love how you guys all in the States think, oh, healthcare in Canada is free, eh? No, it's not. We pay a shit ton of taxes for this system, and it is broken as fuck. The only difference between us and you is that we don't have an after effect of, I went to the doctor and now I've got a bill. You know what I mean? Like, we don't have that. What we have is you pay it in your taxes, and then you can go to the doctor when you want. Well, guess what doesn't work and hasn't worked for the last 15 years? Our medical system. Now, let me ask you a question. If this medical system worked just hunky-dory fine for 30, 40 years after its implementation, and only in the last 10 to 15 years has started going down, but a lot of the members of parliament who basically vote all these rules in provincial legislature who vote all these rules and funding, things like that, are all invested in American healthcare insurance companies, and the system suddenly stops working the way it's supposed to, is that coincidence or design?
Well, you know me, I believe that nothing is a coincidence.
Exactly. These pricks want to bring two-tiered healthcare into Canada, which at this point, I'm like, if you follow the Swedish model, I'm in. Because the Swedish model fucking works.
Yeah, you can go to the free one or you can pay.
Yeah, and if you don't get served by the free one within 90 days, you can go to the private one and the government pays for it.
Right.
Guess what happened? The government shit got better. It improved.
Yeah. My favorite was when... this is years ago, but Mick Jagger was like talking all this shit about the National Health Service in England.
Yeah.
Then he had a heart attack and was immediately flown to New York so they could work on him at Mount Sinai. It's like, get the fuck out of here. They did it though. So, I mean, it proves they're nice because they could have been like, nah, take that shit back over to your precious, National Health Service,
Well, he paid at Mount Sinai for sure.
Oh, he did. He did.
Through the roof.
Heart condition and shit. Yeah, that dude paid hundreds of grand.
Yeah. So,
but, it's already the two-tiered system you're talking about not liking.
I like a two-tiered system. I'm in favor of a two-tiered system. That's the thing. Everybody's like, oh, well, it's all the best doctors are going to go work in the private lobby. Great. Then you make a mandate that says that's fine. You're allowed to work in the private lobby 3 days of the week. 2 days of the week, you got to work in the public sector as a doctor. Congratulations. And we'll give you a tax break for it. Fuck you. Get to work, doc.
Yeah, that's like how lawyers can take pro bono work.
Yeah. A lawyer can take a case pro bono.
Yeah.
And so you know what? I'll tell you what, having worked in the medical field, not as a doctor, obviously, but close to them, since in order to have the license I had to work directly under an MD. And I didn't get a certification. I had to be licensed through a doctor, and he had to sign off on me saying this guy's not going to kill anybody. Right. And you would be surprised how many times someone goes into like the ER or something. They're all jacked up. They're old. They're poor, whatever. And a doctor will just write the bill off. And I mean, it's not like it's hurting the doctor because he gets to claim that on his tax. He just wrote off 200 grand. Well, great for him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and it happens a lot. A lot of people, we basic garlic makes my feet stink. Shut up.
Hi,
Hunger.
Hunger.
We basically have free medical here. It's just we don't know we have it, but we do. Call 911, and if there's some shit going on with you, they will take you to the ER. And if you're really effed up, they will put you upstairs in a room. They will fix you. They will tell you to follow up with somebody. And if you don't want to pay them, guess what? I don't even think it affects your credit.
So here's the thing in Canada you need to understand. Every time they don't want something to happen, they compare it to you guys, right?
Right?
That's what they do. So when we were talking about fixing the healthcare system and people were trying to talk about the Swedish system as being a possibility, everything in the House of Commons was all these fucking lefties going on about, well, I don't think any of us want an American healthcare system, do we? And, you know, sadly, some of the counterpoints were, oh, you mean one of the best healthcare systems in the world that has the least amount of tragic deaths because of accident or misadventure compared to everybody else? Yeah, what a horrible idea. We don't want that. Fuck, that would be a bad idea. But that's what they do. They compare it to Americans. So then the average Canadian gets all, oh, I don't want to be an American. I'm a Canadian. Oh, I'm scared, eh? Don't make me. They'll be bringing guns into my neighborhood. That's the mentality that kicks in. So how did they fucking win the last election? They worried about Trump. The entire fucking last Canadian federal election was decided by Trump, not by any of the policies, not by any of the government's fucking plans. It was just, we'll stand up to Trump. And then
Yeah, I think that's still their plan, but I don't know how it's working out for them.
No, it's not working out for him because finally, even now, the left media is starting to turn against the Carney government.
Yeah, because like America and Canada, we are too closely linked for too long. So the idea that, well, I'm mad at this other guy, so we're just going to not deal with each other. It's like, you can't do that. We share like 1,000-mile long border. I mean,
More than that, it's like 3,000 miles long.
Yeah, well, yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's crazy big border. It's the longest undefended border in the world.
We share a border, a language, a history. I mean, you know,
origin. We share the British origin.
We share the same. Yeah, that's what. Yeah,
we both have pockets of France in our country. You have it down in the Quai de Bayou. We have it up in Quebec. You know.
Well, that's because of you guys, though.
Yeah, well, it's because of the British. The British kicked all the Acadians out of New Brunswick and Nova Scotia and took them down to fucking Louisiana, where they were still
those
France.
Homeboys hit the Mississippi and just kept going south. now,
they went
now
to
we've
the
got
French word.
delicious food like etouffee.
There you go.
And, you know,
there you go.
And New Orleans, while it is one of the most dangerous cities to visit, is also one of the most awesome cities to visit.
I'm just looking forward to, as I like to refer to it, the Great Boomer Die-Off. Because the Great Boomer Die-Off may just readjust fucking Western civilization a little bit, you know?
See, I'm not looking forward to it because I love some boomers.
I do too.
But I know it's going to happen.
It's going to happen.
Yeah. Anglo-Saxon community, the most united community divided by a language. Yeah. Yeah, it's like the British, America, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, we all supposedly speak English. We like to pretend we do. But it's like when I log on to Reaper Miniatures to buy some miniatures or something, and it asks me what language I want, and it has English, American. That's two different things. So I just hit the American flag because, and I need to check out like what would be different about the webpage if I click the English.
The British one?
Like the Union Jack instead.
Yeah, be a lot of extra U's in the words.
Yeah, it's like, why is this even a thing? I don't even get
and
it.
The prices will all be in pounds sterling.
That would be the thing. Now, one thing that I'm here for it, I'm laughing, is the Mexicanos are rioting in the streets and burning Mexico City to the ground and screaming that the gringos either need to go home or learn Spanish and accept Mexican culture instead of forming little enclaves where they just speak English.
Look at what's happening in Japan right now.
Because, well, the reason that amuses the hell out of me is because it's the exact complaint people in America have. Because, like, nothing infuriates me more than they were interviewing this lady. She's been in the country for 25 years. She had like this little cart where she made tamales. She got busted for being illegal. They're interviewing her. She's speaking Spanish. And I'm like, you've been in the country for 25 years and you haven't learned English? Get the fuck out of here. You know what I'm saying? It's like, no. Now, the one thing, I don't know how that'll go, the whole birthright citizenship, but I think they did pass a rule that English is the official language of the United States these days. So, on Tuesday, I used to love when I worked at the convenience store and they'd come in, the Mexican workers, they'd come in, there'd be like 20 of them in one white van. And each one of them would have like $400 in cash on them. And they would buy a couple hot dogs off the roller grill and like a 12-pack of Budweiser, the red though, not the blue, and maybe some cigarettes. And none of them were taller than 5'5".
Yeah.
Going back to the whole birthright citizenship, yeah, the left's kind of mad at what was it, the ADL, or the ones suing for the whole birthright citizenship. You know, the one that wants to keep it the way it is. You know, being understood right now. They made a mistake with the left because they made it where unborn children or people who could potentially be born are a class.
Oh yeah.
And
so that opens up a can of worms on their other favorite thing to bitch about.
Yes.
Hey, what do you call 10,000 lawyers at the bottom of the Baltic Sea?
A good start.
Yes, sir.
Good stuff.
Yeah. Sometimes I think, and I think I'm right, I think that they write shit the way they do on purpose so that people like me will never know what they mean. So, and I'm talking about bills and stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like they'll write a bill, but they'll word it in such a way that a guy with like a high school education and a little additional education, if they hand them that bill, I'd just be like, what does any of this mean? You know?
Hey, Bear, if you take all the lawyers and put them head to toe around the equator, the world would be a better place.
Mobius, bro, when I worked at the Circle K, and I did work at the Circle K way back in the day, because I'm not a proud man and it's the first job I could get, and I had some child support to pay. And 80% of what I earned at that Circle K went to child support. Those hot dogs flew out of there. You like, people would come in 2:30 in the morning, drunk and shit, and buy like 5 of them.
Death dogs.
Yeah. And then, like I said, when the Mexicans were, they were all legal. We all know they're illegal. They're riding around in a single white bus with one guy driving and whatever. And none of them hardly speak Spanish. Like, they would tap on the glass and go, hopna, because we had to give them the hot dogs. They weren't allowed to self-serve. And so you hand them their hot dogs and they put mayonnaise on it, which I was like, okay, that's wild, but whatever. You do you, right? I mean, dude, we were always having to stock that bitch up. But maybe it's a Florida thing. Maybe it's a Florida thing, you know, between the illegals that just got off the plantation wherever they work picking watermelons or whatever, because we grow a shit ton of watermelons down here. Like, I mean, as far as I can see, or whatever they were doing, and drunks. Yeah. You know, you sell a lot of hot dogs. And then
7-Eleven taquitos.
And the cops would come in with their own mugs, which meant that we gave them free coffee. because we had as a rule, as the guy who was behind the register, you could give away up to like 5 free coffees a night or a shift. So, like, if somebody just came in a lot and you just like the cut of their jib and they walked up with like a fountain drink or some shit, you can just be like, just take it, man.
Well, the local convenience store up the block here gets an anonymous donation every month for the police to get their free coffee and donuts up there. I wasn't part of it. I just know it happens. And guess where all the police hang out in my neighborhood?
Listen, if you run a donut shop or a place that has coffee and food like a gas station, giving cops free shit is a smart fucking investment on your point, because it means there's a higher chance a cop will be there when some idiot fucking comes in and tries to cause
That
shit.
is exactly the reason we give the cops the free coffee and everything.
Yeah.
If you've got a cop just hanging out, bullshitting with you for 15 or 20 minutes, that's 15 or 20 minutes. You know you ain't getting robbed.
Listen,
Because,
when I was doing security in Vancouver at the International Village, which was this mall combo place near Skid fucking Row, no less, but it was like a Chinese development. The cops all knew after hours they could stop by. We'd let them in to use the washroom inside the building if they were in the area. They didn't have to go looking for a shitter. We had one ready for them that had just been freshly cleaned by the cleaners. You know what I mean? So we'd always have cops coming by, and we wanted them there. Because we always had crackheads and fucking psychos and everything else in the area. You know?
Yeah, you want those cops. You want those cops there for sure. 100%.
They're like dragonflies in your backyard. They're a deterrent to the pests.
Yeah. And who knew that I would one day be working alongside them? They didn't. I didn't. But like I said, I had to pay a lot of child support, and I did not want to go to jail because I'm not a fan of it, even though I've been there a few times. It's not like my happy place. So that was the lowest part of my life, because I was basically having to live in my mom's garage, and 80% of the money I earned was going to child support to a bitch I knew was not spending any of the money on the kids. You know what I mean? But that's just how the system is. Mobius, you mentioned that. That's just how the system is. You know?
Child support and there's no way that they should be able to take 80% of a man's income. If they take 80% of a man's income, why do you think that we got so many homeless guys? Some of these guys are like, fuck it. You look at the laws, like here in Minnesota, if they go for 3 years without knowing your address or getting any income or anything from a guy, they can just go, well, it's uncollectible, and they won't even pursue you anymore.
Real quick to answer 8 Mobius's thing. I thought that's what's for security. Dude, no criminal on this fucking planet is afraid of a security guard. No crackhead's afraid of a security guard. No junkie's afraid of a security guard. No whore's afraid of a security guard. I did it for 10 years. We're toothless in their eyes.
I didn't mind the whores hanging out. Sometimes I give them like a free Mountain Dew or something.
What a security guard is a tax write-off for the company.
We're not even supposed to do anything. We're not supposed
Florida, they're not allowed to touch you.
Yeah, same everywhere. And the point is you're not there to do anything. You're there to observe and write the report later for the insurance company.
Yep.
That's your fucking job.
They don't do shit.
The topic said THAC0. What the fuck?
Angry tabletop nerd. What's up, homie? We were talking about THAC0, actually.
Not when I was here.
Got off topic.
Of course, you know how things go. But yeah, we're talking about THAC0 and how there is a mystery to THAC0 that doesn't exist with Ascending Armor class. Yes. Because the players are never 100% sure of anything. And people who say THAC0 was too hard, it's like most of the guys in this chat except Leth learned THAC0 when they were like 12. Yeah. So it's like, you know.
And when I heard THAC0, it wasn't that difficult.
No. And it's existed since first edition. It is in the back of the DMG. They got that list of all the monsters in D&D with a THAC0. So, I mean, But I mean, ascending armor class, if that's what you want to use, that's fine too. Guard your restrooms from junkies. Yeah.
Dude.
Oh, my favorite was the 3 a.m. Hey man, come on, sell me the beer. Here's what I'll do. If I take the beer, but I leave the money on the counter, wait till like 5 o'clock and then you can charge me for it. And it's like, no, what's wrong with you? I don't want to go to jail. The whole reason I'm here is I don't want to go to jail, you know? And they'll try anything, man. They will try anything, literally.
Dude, when I used to work at the adult video store on graveyard shift, we would get guys that would come in, usually not of Christian origin, and they would come to the counter all sneaky, and they'd be like, "Do you have any movies with schoolgirls?" Right? And what we did is we'd be like, "No, but hey, call this number," and we'd give them a number on a piece of paper and ask for Steve. He'll hook you up. And what it was the RCMP child reporting line.
Yeah, you and Hungar could probably kvetch about that shit for hours because he worked at a
adult store. Yeah.
Oh yeah, he used to. I remember he used to tell us that he'd be like, "You wouldn't believe it, but people keep coming in and buying the G-MILF sex dolls," and it's like, what?
What?
And apparently it's a sex doll that kind of looks like the grandma from Sylvester and Tweety.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Like hair up in a bun, little wireframe glasses. Because, I mean, people got weird kinks, man.
All right. Right in front of the cash. It was all videos, but right in front of the cash, we had a wall of sex toys at the back of the room, right? Like the back of the area. And it was Halloween. I remember it clear as a fucking bell. We were pretty busy because on any holiday, we'd get busy, especially Mother's Day. Holy shit, we got busy on Mother's Day. And this guy and a girl, I'm serving customers, and I can hear this guy and a girl down at the wall looking at sex toys. And then finally, I hear the girl say to the guy, "If I'm getting something, you're getting something. I'll be in the car." And she walks out in a huff. And I'm like, all right, whatever. That's weird. And then he comes walking up about 4 customers later, and he puts down some toys for her. And then he puts down this toy called the Man Kit. And it's all a bunch of vibrating shit you can stick up a guy's ass, basically. And he has this look on his face like just a defeated human being. And I just sort of looked at him. I went, "Brother, can I make you a recommendation?" And he's like, "Yeah." And I reached over and grabbed a 32-ounce bottle of wet lube and went, "You want this. Trust me, you want this."
Man, we're gonna start
okay. And he just bought everything and left. I felt so bad for that guy because he was just going to get brutalized by his girlfriend that night.
Man. I have heard, and no, this isn't about THAC0, Holy Diver, I apologize, but never in my life until Generation Z have I heard so much about people pegging each other.
They're really
I don't
into
know
it.
what in the hell they are doing, where they went wrong, but it's just like, you know, you're hanging out and somebody's just talking about this shit, all matter of fact and stuff, right? And I'm just like, the F is wrong with you, you know? Like you're admitting this kind of shit? Like, no way. But yeah, Hungar worked, yeah.
Fortunately, we didn't have to do that where I was. Thank you, Hungar. That's disgusting.
What's weird is the place he worked was right next to a really high-end Italian restaurant. Because I've ate at the restaurant. I've never been into, but that's where I learned that there is a magazine. I don't know who publishes it, but it's available in the state of Florida. There's a magazine called Manhole. And when I found out about that, I just about lost it, because it's just like, oh my God, that is definitely something. So, and of course, Hungar got hit on by like all the gay dudes that shop there, like nonstop. He's not going to tell you that, but I'll tell you that. As a matter of fact, no matter where we went and what we were doing, if there was a gay dude anywhere in the area, they would hit on Hungar. It got so bad that I started getting a little butthurt about it. None of them hit on me ever. And I started being like, do I look like a troll? Should I be under a bridge or something? What the fuck? All these gay dudes are trying to hit on you. Not one. I mean, I'd say no, obviously, but come on, man. At least give it a shot, right?
Yeah. Are you not good enough for them?
Yeah. It's like, what?
As someone who has walked in Hungar's shoes on this topic when I was a bouncer at gay clubs, it's flattering as fuck, given how picky these sons of bitches can be sometimes. It's very flattering, but then you realize they just want a bear. That's all it is.
Well, you are a bear.
You're daddy. That's what they're looking for. Is they're just looking for a bear daddy, and you're like, oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah, it's not that I'm attractive in any way, shape, or form. It's just I'm a big burly guy that has a big beard. Ah, fuck. Why can't women find that shit attractive? God damn it.
Some do.
Yeah, send them my fucking way.
I mean, yeah. Well, if I run into any, I will.
The women in my world were always into, like, if the guy looked more like a fucking metal singer, the more pussy he was getting. You know what I mean?
Well, that was the 80s and 90s, yeah. For sure. Like the imperial Japanese flag tied around your freaking knee. The long hair.
Oh, yeah.
Working on a Friday, hoping for the bell to ring. Proceed.
Long hair, skinny as fuck, couldn't fight his way out of a wet paper bag, but causes more fucking problems than he's worth. And his favorite subject, him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like that old joke. What do strippers and what's the favorite topic that strippers and lead singers have in common? Themselves. Like Jesus Christ.
Well, see, I never heard that joke, but I trust that you would know.
Oh, you've ever heard all my musician jokes? Oh, I'll tell you them. They're real fast. What do you call a drummer who breaks up with his girlfriend? Homeless. How can you tell when your stage is leaning? The bassist drools out both sides of his mouth. How do you know when there's a drummer knocking at your door? He speeds up, he slows down, he never knows when to come in.
That's funny.
Yeah. All jokes taught to me by actual musicians over the years, so worth it.
The only my main self-deprecating joke is how can you tell somebody was infantry or is a veteran? Just wait a minute. They'll tell you.
How do you know your girlfriend's vegan? Don't worry, she'll tell you.
Exactly. It's like just wait a minute. They'll let you know. But
hey, THAC0, you don't tell them the AC. I do, because I want them to do the fucking math themselves. I'm not interested in doing the math for them. So I don't believe in hiding the AC, because it's a game. It's not a fucking quiz show. You know what I mean? Like, go ahead.
Whereas I don't tell them shit. I tell
yeah,
them
but you've seen what happens. Even when I tell them shit, you've seen what chaos monkeys they are.
They are. It was hilarious. I tell them it is their turn to attack the orc who's clad in heavy metal. And if they want to try to figure out, okay, he's wearing heavy chainmail, so his armor class is going to be around, 4.
Yeah,
they can do that on their own.
I get the purpose. I understand why people do it, but I'm literally not running a fucking game show. Here's your fucking number. Roll your dice. Let's move on.
Hey, some people like it that one way. Some people,
Yep, absolutely, absolutely. Nothing wrong with the way you do it. I just choose not to because it's exhausting.
Yeah. As I like to say, they're not always dressed in the same armor.
Well, that's why a lot of times I will describe what an enemy is wearing. And then the players, if they know shit about the game should have a pretty good clue. Like if I tell him that a goblin's charging him and he's wearing like leather armor and he's got a shield
I think I'm gonna have to go. I'll see you.
I'll see you.
All right, see you, Lef.
You know, the goblin's charging, he's wearing leather armor, he's got a freaking shield and a morning star. You should be able to figure out that his armor class is probably around 7. So, I mean, you roll your die, I tell you you hit or not. I mean, you can always do it the dungeon professor way, which is if the player rolls higher than 15, they succeed. Just because he don't want to get caught up in all the BS. So he's just like, 15's good enough for me. But, I mean, Professor Dungeon Master, I mean. But, I don't know. I'm a little bit more of a jerk when it comes to shit like that. You know? But that's why AD&D, compared to a lot of games, when it was ran the way I'm describing, was a game of skill. Because the player used the character sheet to do whatever they were trying to do, right? Whereas in modern versions of the game, the character sheet's actually playing the game for you. Like the character sheet will be the one that looks for secret doors and shit with your perception check. You know, the character sheet, it does everything for you. But in old school, you had to actually tell the DM what you were doing. And so a player who really, really worked at, you know, knowing how to play the game and what was going to be better at the game than a player who didn't devote time to actually knowing things. And I mean, it's up to you guys and whoever else decide which way was better. But it is a fact. I mean, Gygax even admits it. That's why he wrote Tournament Modules. That AD&D was a game about player skill, not about your character as much. Like a really smart, creative character player would be able to do shit with a character that you wouldn't think they could, but you know.
That's why I like tournaments. Then I can use all my skill set.
I mean, it's just what some people like. And some people like everything to be laid out and everybody knows what's up and nobody's surprised about whatever. And you know what? That's perfectly good too. You know, as I said, I'm kind of being a hypocrite right now because I'm using ascending armor class. However, I still don't tell the players what the armor class is of the monster. You know, I will describe the monster to them, whatever it is, or what it's wearing, or whatever. But I don't say its armor class is 19 because I don't know. I maybe because I'm old and it's hard to teach an old dog new tricks.
Well, I just asked myself a simple question. What is the benefit to me or the game by not telling them? And I can't come up with one, so I'm good at telling them. But that's a personal thing. It's just how I want to run my games. I don't want to waste a lot of time. I would say
the benefit to me is I know and they don't.
Well, how's that a benefit, though? What's the upside? What do you win?
I can giggle at them.
Yeah, I just wait for them to open their mouths to do that.
Well, I mean, you know, you just gotta wait for them to like hang off a rope and sing songs.
Start playing flute while their friends are dying. Exactly.
Yeah.
And then there's that. Did you see that meme? Which is the girl playing flute in a band and she's crying, and it's the funniest picture. And then someone put at the bottom, which is while all your friends are dying and all you can do is play flute because you want to be a fucking bard.
Right.
So I really we said that to Janet, like ta tee ha Janet. She was a good sport about it though.
I mean, you know, you got no choice. That's what happened.
Hey, she
You
used talk
know?
to animal. She used communicate with animal in like the best way possible in the last session we played. She actually did it to fuck up the untouchable bad guy. The untouchable bad guy had a beautiful medallion of protection from missile fire. So Doc Flamingo's playing this gun guy from the Old West who's been transported to the fantasy world. So as the fight's happening, he's taking aim at the big bad guy, and then he pulls the trigger, and the bullet goes tink. So Janet's like, "Do I see a rat anywhere?" And I'm like, "Nah, give me a roll." And she gets a critical fucking success. I'm like, "You see one fucking rat?" She's like, "Cool, I cast communicate with animals." I'm like, "All right, read the spell. It'll do whatever she asks." I tell it to try and go and steal the medallion and bring it to me. All right, fuck it. Let's roll for the rat and see what happens. Motherfucker succeeds, steals the medallion, runs away. Then they take the second shot and blow the guy's fucking brains out of his head and kill the big boss in the big fight scene. But it was like, well, fucking done, Janet. Like that was crafty fucking playing, you know?
Yeah, that's knowing your class and knowing how to use it.
Yep.
So yeah, Janet is she is a special person. And I don't mean that like in a smart ass way. I mean that like she's literally a pretty badass D&D player, I think. And you know, it's crazy because it wasn't that long ago she was doing like the show or whatever with Bruce. And Bruce convinced her to try gaming out. And now she's like in like all these different games and whatever, you know.
Yep.
So
No, it was a really Coco's right. It was a really good moment. It's a really good moment.
yeah. I've got a character in my D&D group who has befriended a weasel. He's a gnome, so he can talk to any burrowing animal.
Okay.
And him and this weasel, the weasel doesn't actually serve him, but they're buddies, and he keeps feeding it. So it just keeps following him around. But 99% of the time, it doesn't take part in anything he's involved in. Like he'll look around and be like, "Where's my weasel?" I don't know. Because that little bastard might be a quarter of a mile away running through the woods trying to, you know, do whatever it's trying to do, right? So, yeah, it's not so much he controls the weasel. It's more of a weasel hangs out and he feeds it.
I had the same thing going on with a character that I gave a chipmunk to, and I gave him a +1 on his being able to see threats. So I was like, well, you got a +1 on your die roll.
I guess if he rolled and he made a charisma check, he might be able to convince the weasel to scout ahead. But I mean, the weasel it's basically its own character, and it's going to do what it's going to do. So, and he is not the Beastmaster. He is just a gnome fighter illusionist. So, our group is pretty good. I mean, we've got an elf acrobat, which you wouldn't think would be super like good at stuff, but it turns out they are. Because if they make their tumble roll and then they make their like whatever roll, then they hit whoever they hit with their staff for like double damage. And if the person doesn't see them, they can tumble and back attack for like quadruple damage.
Stop giving fucking Coco ideas because he's playing a 5e rogue right now and he pisses me off every time we have to roll dice.
Well, this is more of an AD&D style
Oh, I know, but trust me, dude. He's like, it's every time. He's like, hey, roll for initiative. I got a 14. I got a 8. I got a 17. I got a 32. Fuck off. 5th
What?
edition rogue.
Yeah. No,
Okay,
this
for my
guy's
first guy.
he's got his +2 to initiative because that's the most you can get, I think, in OSE.
Well, gents, I'm gonna have to bounce. I got shit to do and start thinking about making my supper. So
Yeah.
I will let you you be bye.
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 Holy Diver, what do you think about that trireme? It's got the ram, but instead of a 4-cell, it's got chains, and at the end of the chains are like pots of fire, like burning coals. So the thought is when it rams into the enemy, it will spatter the deck of an enemy ship with burning coals. And of course, I mean, it's got the 3 blank spaces, so I can put, you know, whatever I want on it. Archers.
Okay.
You know, 5e can be good if you're willing as a DM to make it good. But if you're not willing to actually do the stuff required, then you're going to get the results that you're going to get. You are right. The monsters, a lot of times. See, I'm working on this guy real quick. So what I'm doing, just to show it off, this is a Macedonian ship, by the way, is I threw a unit of hoplites on the front that can either defend or charge across. The open deck represents the oarsmen that can come up out of the deck to defend the boat. And then on the back, those are THAC0 or whatever, which are archers. And they can fire flaming arrows. And then, of course, you know, I haven't put the symbol on it yet, but, you know, you put your oar on or your sail on. I'm going to use these symbols for my Macedonian fleet. A character sheet for an acrobat, it just uses the same character sheet. Unless you're getting ready to tell me a joke, which, you know. But it like in OSC, it just uses the same character sheet. I think it was introduced in AD&D and Unearthed Arcana.
Which was?
The acrobat.
Yeah, that was Unearthed Arcana.
Yeah. So, yeah, there's this game, and I guess you could buy them from Etsy or something, but you can download all the rules for free on PDF. And then you buy the STLs and you make a fleet, which is generally 5 to 7 ships, and you duke it out with your opponents. So, you know, I currently have like 3 fleets: Macedonian, Athenian, and Cretan. But anyway, I'm going to take off too, guys. I know it's less than 2 hours, but I got to go or I'll pee myself. So.